The atomic bomb was first developed by the United States. They did so in the top-secret Manhattan Project. The goal of the Manhattan Project was to build a weapon to end the war in the Pacific during World War II. After numerous tests in the desert, the first bombs to be dropped on people were dropped in Japan, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world saw the sheer power of the bombs for the first time, and it horrified them. The goal of the bomb was accomplished. The Japanese surrendered in fear of the U.S. dropping more bombs. When those bombs were dropped, the whole world changed forever. From the time that the bomb was dropped to present day, the rest of the world has wanted to have the power of the bomb. The first other country to get the bomb was Russia. When the Russians obtained the bomb, the real power of the bomb was realized. The real power of the bomb is the chokehold it puts on everything. An example of this would be the Cold War. The Cold War between the United States and Russia was a constant back and forth for a large chunk of the 20th century. But the quote-unquote war never escalated to actual war because both sides were in fear that the other side would just blow the opposition away with nuclear bombs. The two sides were in a stalemate for the entirety of the war. Even today, the same power is in use, even though former President Barack Obama said he wants to get rid of the U.S. nuclear bombs. He also said that he knows he can't because the U.S. would have no protection against other nations' bombs. This shows that the very same use that was used in the Cold War is still in use today. Nuclear bombs are not used as weapons anymore. They are just used as a threat to keep everyone else from using the bombs. This shows the distrust that we have in other nations in today's world. Robert Keller even said himself that they are the most destructive weapons ever devised by man, and their use must be prevented. On the other hand, nuclear weapons are the most effective deterrent to such use. In other words, the reason to have the bombs is to protect against the use of the bombs. So, the physical impact of the bombs themselves is almost the same that it would be if the weapons were never invented. If diplomats around the world could just trust each other, then there would be no need to have the nuclear bombs, and there would be no need to have the stress that it puts on everybody, most importantly the soldiers and the people that they are trying to protect by having them. So the question I have is, why do we even have the bombs at all in today's world? In our current world today, our commander-in-chief, the president, cannot trust the radical leaders of countries like Russia or North Korea enough to get rid of the bombs that the U.S. has. Therefore, the U.S. has the largest stockpile of any country in the world, just so that they can protect ourselves from the radical leaders of the world. There are lots of examples of the stress caused by just having nuclear bombs. For example, the Cuban Missile Crisis, where Russia moved nuclear warheads to the island of Cuba just off the coast of the United States, causing lots of stress and pressure on America's government and its people due to the fear of being bombed from so close. Another example is the U.S. moved the Pershing II rocket into West Germany during the Cold War. The Soviet Union began to panic and scramble jets in order to get a view of the new rocket, and it scared the Soviets into stopping the dismantling of their own new kind of rocket that the U.S. had already negotiated with them to begin dismantling because it was too dangerous of a rocket. But the U.S.'s new rocket was also deemed too dangerous and was eventually dismantled. These two examples show the dance that has to be played with nuclear weapons in order to keep the peace. The dance of the necessary evil that is the bombs, that because without them, the people of our country would be in danger, but also with them, they are also in danger because of the constant fear caused by them. In the long run, if you look at the historical impact of the nuclear bombs, it really isn't all that different from if they didn't exist. There hasn't been any set off physically, to cause damage to people, to kill the people. The only damage that is done is to the psyche of everyone in the world, caused by stress and fear of the bombs possibly ruining their home. So yes and no. The bombs are necessary, but they aren't. They're necessary because they are here, but if they weren't here, there would be no need for them. There would be peace caused by them not being here, but there is also peace caused by them being here.